It's time to talk boxing again, and tomorrow in Texas, Aussie Vic Darchinyan comes up against Nonito Donaire. To break it down, we're joined by boxing commentator Paul Upham. Paul, good to talk to you now. These two fighters have some history. Take us through it.
Well, it's a 6-year history. 6 years ago, July 2007, Vic was the undefeated IBF flyweight world champion. He was knocking everybody out, and he actually beat Nonito Donaire's older brother, Glenn. Now, Nonito vowed to take revenge against Darchinyan, and they had a fight, and he knocked Vic out. A stunning one-punch knockout. It was voted knockout of the year. It was unbelievable because we'd never seen Vic hurt, let alone knocked out like that. Vic automatically wanted a rematch. He demanded a rematch, but he didn't get a rematch. Donaire refused to fight him, and for 6 years he's been calling him out. Vic went on and became the undisputed world champion at super flyweight. They've both moved up in weight classes. They've both had a lot of wins and world titles. And now finally, after Nonito Donaire lost in April against the Cuban, he has now decided he's going to have a rematch over 10 rounds with Vic Darchinyan at featherweight, 4 weight classes above their original flyweight battle.
Now, how intriguing is that? There's so many anomalies involved in this fight, considering the 6-year history. And Darchinyan 37, Donaire, what, 30? So as it sits here and now, who's the favourite and why? Look,
a lot of people have got Donaire favourite because they say he knocked Darchinyan out before. Darchinyan's 37. But look, I look at it a different way. This is Vic Darchinyan's career fight because he's always said that he took him, lied him. It was a one-punch, lucky knockout. And Donaire's always ridden over the top of this. Vic's actually said, I made Donaire. Even though I lost, I was the one who made him. But I think 10 rounds, Vic Darchinyan, he's called Raging Bull for a reason. And I think 6 years that rage has been building, and I just think he's going to be like a piranha all over him. I don't think he's going to knock Donaire out, and I don't think it'll be an easy win, but I think there's a very good chance Vic Darchinyan can win 6 or 10 rounds and get the points decision. Now, Donaire's a huge favourite, and the hardest thing in boxing is to beat the guy who's knocked you out. And Vic Darchinyan's going to do that, but he's never not had enough self-belief and confidence. That's Vic. People call it arrogance, but Vic has supreme confidence in himself.
So you're saying he'll win?
I'll say Darchinyan on points is my pick.
There you go. Well, we hope that you are right, Paul. Let's talk about the big story of the week. Mundine Mosley back on now. Such a wave of controversy about this. First, I want to ask you, could Jeff Fenech injunct against this fight? We've seen a couple of stories brewing later in the week about it. You know more about it, considering, of course, he lost the money under the previous promoter, Vlad Wharton. Has he got any grounds to come and prevent this fight from happening?
You never know, and you never say no in the legal frame. But look, his claim is against Vlad Wharton. Vlad Wharton was the promoter. Anthony Mundine was not the promoter of the fight. Now he is the promoter of the new fight with Coda Nasser. They've put up the money. They're paying the $1 million to Mosley, and he wanted in advance. So now they're taking the risk. That's a separate issue to Jeff Fenech and Vlad Wharton. Look, I feel for Jeff. You know, he's been dudded, but he needed to be on top of Vlad Wharton and making sure the fight was going ahead. If you're going to invest $400,000, you've got to be all over that fight. And he assumed that it was going to happen. Now, maybe he can take a little injunction, but boxing doesn't need that. We want the fight to go ahead. Now, I always love Jeff, and I hope Jeff gets his money back from Vlad, but this is a separate issue now. The fight's going to go ahead. Mosley's been paid $1 million, so he's coming down. I see it an advantage to Mundine. Because Shane Mosley told me when he was down here before, he didn't like the time zones, he didn't like flying to the other side of the planet. He's never fought outside of America before. And if you remember when Anthony Mundine won his world title against Antoine Eccles, first of all, he got sick. Eccles went back to America, came back 4 weeks later. I think it does drain the fighter. So I think that's an advantage to Mundine that they're fighting so close again on November 27. I think it's going to be a very close fight. I'm still leaning towards Mosley at this stage because he looked fantastic in training. But let's see how he looks when he comes back to Australia after flying around the planet again.
And what about the impact on Garth Wood, who we just spoke to earlier, missing out on his legitimate WBA title fight?
Look, you've got to feel for Garth. You know, he's a great guy. He's a fan favourite. But unfortunately, when you're trying to put 2 promotions on, the back-to-back, and Main Event and Fox have made a decision that the Mundine Mosley fight is the bigger fight, and it is the bigger fight. Look, it's just a mess. The Mundine Mosley fight should have happened already, and Garth could have had his fight. I feel for Garth. It's unfortunate, but look, I love his attitude. He's saying move on, another door will open. So fingers crossed for Garth that he gets that other big fight that he deserves, because he's a guy we want to see in the ring.
Well, there's lots more fights coming up too. Billy Dibb as well, but we've run out of time, Paul. But looking forward to this fight tomorrow with Vic Darchinyan. Thanks for talking to us.
Great night, thanks.